Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here to bring you a movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. And yeah, I know I'm way late getting this video out, but I honestly just got done seeing it for the first time in theaters. You guys, I know I'm a big Marvel fan, I'm a big DC fan too. I have a bit of a figure collection over there, but I've tried to show that in the past. It just doesn't work from over here. But sometime I'll show you more of my figures. I used to do figure reviews, but I deleted all those videos for some very odd reason I don't understand right now. But nonetheless, I did just get out of seeing Avengers Age of Ultron, and I'm not going to go too deep into the plot of this movie because honestly it's not hard to explain. Basically, Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, of course, are collaborating, and they end up having this idea for Ultron, this AI system who can better protect and maintain and control, in the human population, stuff like that. But of course, it goes haywire, and it is a little bit different from the comics because Ultron's usually connected to Hank Pym, but obviously that wasn't going to be the case with this movie. And of course, Ultron, ends up wanting to go down his own path, and thus there's your movie. So that's really the main plot of the story. Another excuse for the Avengers to save the world, of course. And I like Ultron as a villain in the comics. So as far as how he was portrayed in this movie, I do think James Spader did a good job voicing the character. And it was kind of funny how he still parts of Tony Stark's personality in him, which I thought was kind of, like I said, funny at times. But I do wish they had some darker, more serious moments with the Ultron character, because other times he's going back and forth between his own personality and Tony's, and then the rest of it, he's being flown around and stuff like that. But I did like that shot of him in the chair when Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch came to talk to him and stuff. But so overall, I think Ultron is given some decent justice in this movie, although I don't think it's the best that I could have done with him, to be completely honest. But I do think he worked for the most part in the movie. Although I will say I think Loki felt like a bigger villain in the Avengers. Maybe that's just because he is more personally connected to one of the characters, I don't know. But yeah, either way, Ultron is decent in the movie. Right off the bat, you're going to want to know if I think it was, better, worse, or about on the same level as the first Avengers film. Now, I seen the first Avengers film in theaters as well, a few years ago now. It came out in 2012, didn't it? I think so. Could be wrong. But yeah, let's just check it. I'm pretty sure it was 2012. Hold on. Yep, 2012. Okay. But yeah, I seen the first Avengers movie in theaters back in 2012. And I will say that I do think the first Avengers movie was a superior film, and that's been the general consensus for most people that have seen both of them. And not that Age of Ultron is a bad film whatsoever, really. I do think it was a lot better than some people were making it out to be. I do think there are people that are just being too negative with everything that they put out based on this stuff nowadays. People are just way too critical on the internet, with this and Batman versus Superman coming out and stuff like that. People are just really I don't want to talk about that right now, but I do think it was a better film than it was made out to be, at least online. And although I will say I did enjoy the first one a little bit more than this, but that could be in part because the first Avengers movie, it had that initial spark, that initial hype surrounding it of all these characters coming together for the first time on a live action film. And of course this one with Age of Ultron, we're more used to it, so that initial magic is sort of gone, or at least lessened with this movie. But it's still great seeing all these characters together again. I can't really complain about that. It's awesome. And yeah, so other moments throughout the movie that stuck out, I did think it was funny with when they were having that party right before Ultron first came out for that first time, when they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer, as they're drinking and stuff like that. I liked how Mark Ruffalo or Bruce Banner lifted it, then he tried to act like the Hulk and just everyone was just looking at him. No one was really laughing whatsoever. And then Tony Stark tried it. He couldn't get even with the Iron Man arm and stuff like that. And then Captain America actually tried to lift it, and he actually got to nudge or move like a slight inch or something like that, or start to tilt his way. And you see Thor, he has this look of slight concern on his face, And of course, it can only go to someone who is worthy. And of course, Thor is, and Captain America almost is, but just things about himself as a person that makes him a little bit more of a lesser sure thing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but. And then we see someone finally does pick it up towards the end of the movie. We'll get to that in a little bit. And Ultron supposedly kills Jarvis as well, or at least destroys that part of the system that had him running. Was that a knock on the door? I don't know. But anyway. That was one of the funnier parts of the movie, one of the lighter moments. And this movie contained a little bit more drama, like serious moments than the first Avengers movie did. I know I complained about Ultron not being serious enough in the movie, but for the rest of the Avengers, it was more of a serious film, I think. And as far as Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver in the movie, of course, played by Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's kind of funny seeing them being brother and sister, because you guys know I'm big on Godzilla, and obviously they played husband and wife in that movie, so now they're brother and sister in this one. Makes sense, right? But as far as how their characters were, I apologize. As far as how their characters were in this movie, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like them, but at the same time, I felt like they weren't executed as well as they could have been. I did think Elizabeth Olsen did a pretty decent, solid job as Scarlet Witch. And Aaron Taylor Johnson as, Quicksilver, I thought he was okay. I mean, like most people, I kind of like the guy that played him in Days of Future Past a little bit more. But he wasn't terrible either. The only thing I was a little bit off about both of them was their accents. I thought they were a little bit silly at times. And, Aaron Taylor Johnson just sounded like fake all the way through. Elizabeth Olsen was a little bit better at it, but there were still times when her regular voice would come out, and it was just a little bit, But, once you got used to it, you just tend not to care anymore, you know what I mean? But it still wasn't, completely horrendous either, I've definitely heard worse. So, there's that. And I did actually like Scarlet Witch in general in the movie. I liked her more than Quicksilver. I just think her character was able to get to some development. I like the scene between her and Hawkeye, when Hawkeye sort of gave her that speech of, if she steps out there, she's an Avenger, she has a job to do, and, he's a guy, with all this, shit going on around him with a bow and arrow, and, he's still trying to do his job and stuff like that. I thought that was a good speech. I did like, of course I'm paraphrasing, I can't directly quote it, but hopefully you guys know what scene I'm talking about. Anyway, my hair is kind of funny, so I'm going to mess with it while I'm trying to record a review. But, Oh, man. I'm sorry for doing this now. But, it's like that one strand of hair just going down there. But, anyway. As far as the rest of it goes, there's also this subplot of a romance between Bruce Banner and Black Widow in this movie. And some people were kind of complaining about it. I thought it came a little bit out of nowhere. All of a sudden they're just kind of together. We never really got any build up to it. They try to connect it to the first time Black Widow was sent to recruit him. They try a little bit to explain it, but I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit random. But although I think it was done well in the movie, I just felt it was a little bit out of place. Or at least it should have been built up a little bit more in the movies prior. And of course the Hulk being one of my favorite comic book characters ever, along with Batman and stuff like that, if you guys didn't know. But, I did like how the Hulk was handled in the movie. We didn't see quite as much of him as the first I want to say. Well, wait, maybe. He might have got more screen time in this, but I felt like he was a little bit more of a... He had a little bit more oomph in him in the first movie, if you guys know what I mean. I just felt like he was handled a little bit better in that one. But I did like the fight between him and Hulkbuster, of course, Tony Stark, when Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were on Ultron's side in the earlier part of the movie. She got into Bruce Banner's mind and caused him to go berserk and start attacking citizens and this little town and city and stuff like that. And so Tony Stark had to try and contain him and stop him in the Hulkbuster armor. And I thought the Hulkbuster armor was looked really good, so I like how that turned out. The fight itself was pretty fun, although of course I didn't really like that he was able to knock the Hulk out at the end. But I kind of get it though, because when they came down from that building, when Hulk came out of the rubble, his mind was starting to come back to him, and the Hulk was seeing like all the people, all the harm he was causing, all the destruction, how upset people were and stuff like that. And in that moment, Tony Stark was able to knock him out, which I thought made sense. He's starting to calm him down a little bit for a second. I don't think Tony Stark could have beaten the Hulk head on had it kept going either. And the Hulk wasn't in his right mind for a lot of that fight anyway. So. But I'm a Hulk fanboy, but I still believe in what I say about it. But yeah, so that fight was still pretty awesome though, and that was one of my favorite shots in the movie when Hulk was just looking around at all the destruction that he was causing. He was actually starting to feel really bad about it. I thought that was a great character moment, and it would have been the only time that someone could have knocked him out like that, So yeah, I thought that was good. Ultron, I thought I already talked about Ultron, but I thought the design for him was pretty decent in the movie. I do like his more comic book type of look a little bit more, but I think it was a decent movie adaptation. Although I didn't like how the mouth moved as he talked. I wish it would have stayed like a flat robot, as his voice just kind of came through. I thought that would have worked a little bit better. Because with his mouth moving every time he talked, it was a little bit even more cartoonish, and I didn't really like that too much. But other than that, he was fine. And let's see, what else? Yeah, of course, let me see. I just want to make sure of his name. Claw, I think his name is. Let me see. Yeah, Ulysses Claw, yeah. Andy Serkis, yeah, he's a big guy. Literally not a big guy, but he's kind of more known for his performance capture, motion capture roles. He was Gollum in some of the Lord of the Rings films. He worked on Peter Jackson's King Kong, and of course he's also more known for Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies. So yeah, he had a role as Claw in this movie. He's a character connected to the Black Panther, so I think we're going to see him pop up again sometime. So it's kind of cool to see him. And then Nick Fury does show up to help him out with the helicarrier and stuff like that. It's good to see him, of course, with all these Avengers movies. He gives like a spark to it all. But I did feel like he sort of just not really needed in the movie too much. I did like the sequences of when Scarlet Witch was sort of like having all the characters see like these nightmares, these visions of like the worst possible things for them. Of course, Black Widow was taken back to her earlier years when she was being trained, and of course, Captain America was forced to see Peggy and stuff like that, which may have actually helped him somewhat. I don't know. And let's see. I did like how Black Widow was able to be something to calm Hulk down. She takes her glove off and does this lullaby hand type of thing with him. But I already kind of spoke about the romance. I felt like it was a little bit random, but I felt like it would have been better if they had hinted more towards it in the prior movies. But the way it was actually shown, when it was actually shown in the movie, it wasn't poorly done or anything. I just felt like it needed build up, So there's that. There's just a lot to talk about with this. Not really much with the story, but just a lot of these little moments that I want to try to remember. Of course, with the scepter, it's constantly being taken in the movie, and it's of course one of the 6 Infinity Stones. And Paul Bettany, of course, he's always been voicing Jarvis in the Iron Man movies and stuff like that, but when he's supposedly destroyed in the movie, it turns out he wasn't fully, and then he eventually turns into the Vision. And I thought the Vision was an awesome movie. He was one of the better things about it. And I just love the design for me. I feel a mix of prosthetics as well as CGI. I thought he looked really good. And I like Paul Bettany. I even liked him in Legion. I liked him in Priest and stuff like that. So it was cool to see him get an even bigger role in the Avengers. So I like that a lot. And I like how he is handled. I like his ties to Ultron. So I thought that was all good. And I like that he was actually able to pick up Thor's hammer. Because, since he's a robot, he's... or like a AI, he's more like set in this like path of pureness and this path of good. And apparently he's one of the worthy ones. So I was fine with that. I like Thor's reaction. It was Chris Hemsworth. It was perfect. But yeah, so there's that. I like that the Hulk was brought back after Black Widow got him to turn again. And I like how he was one to sort of put Ultron down in the end. Not like fully, but he was one of them that, he jumped inside Ultron's ship. And then, he just threw Ultron out of it. I thought that was awesome. So Hulk was kind of the one that kind of put a stop to him as he was going along towards the end of the movie. Sort of put a halt for him anyway. And I just like Ultron's reaction to it, oh, for the love of And then Bruce Banner's exit was different in this movie too. He was still in Hulk form, but he seemed to be retaining a little bit more intelligence. He saved Black Widow, and then he, like I said, he flung Ultron out of the ship, and then he actually took off by himself. And Black Widow was trying to communicate with him, but he sort of just cut her off. That's basically a form of breakup, Bruce Banner doesn't feel like he can be with anyone like that. And I did like how the conversations were written between him and Black Widow throughout the movie. And, but of course, Bruce Banner doesn't feel like he can be with anyone like that. It's a similar thing that he usually has with Betty Ross and stuff like that. And Hulk actually flies the plane off and it supposedly, crashes. But, of course, obviously he probably got out and swam to shore and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was a little bit different for the character. I like that, though. And, of course, Hulk being my favorite Avenger, of course, I love every moment with him in the movie. And, so Ultron is obviously destroyed in the end, and, the Vision destroys the last remaining robot, so he can't come back. And I like the conversation he and the Vision had before Vision destroyed him. It's showing their contrast of the beliefs they're set in and stuff like that. Vision feels like Ultron missed the fact that they have grace in that humanity has grace in their failures, and Ultron just has this completely different idea, this complete lack of faith and stuff like that. So I thought this was some pretty well written conversations and really made sense for the characters. So I did like that, and it was also it was good that Hawkeye got more focus in this movie too. We got to see he has a family, a wife, and some actual kids. So it was different for the character. They teased his death, but Quicksilver actually ends up taking some bullets for him as Hawkeye's trying to rescue a kid. Quicksilver dies, and it sets off this rage in Scarlet Witch, which was pretty awesome. And I was a little bit surprised. I heard some spoilers about this movie. It's obviously been too long for me to hear nothing about it, but it's still kind of surprising that they killed him off, considering his ties to Magneto and stuff like that. But it definitely helped with the mood for the movie and stuff like that. And yeah, I think Scarlet Witch is pretty well handled in this movie, even if the accents were a little bit off. But so also you get a mid-credit scene of Thanos is finally deciding, I'm going to take this into my own hands. He grabs the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's dissatisfied, and he vows to personally retrieve the Infinity Stones. So that's of course setting up Infinity War Part 1 and 2 coming in 2018, 2019 in a theater near you. And that was a terrible voice crack. Holy shit. Sorry about that. But so I like all Thanos teases that have been coming throughout the years. And of course, he had a little appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. I think he's just going to be an awesome villain. I already like the way he's handled it. I love his design in the movie, so I can't wait to see him in Infinity War full on. That should be awesome, man. And so that's really all I have to say specifically about Age of Ultron. I think it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, based on the reviews online and stuff. Wasn't quite as good as the first Avengers film, but that's just because we saw that initial hype of them getting together for the first time, like I said. But I still think Age of Ultron is a worthy sequel. I did enjoy it a fair amount, you know. And I'm looking forward to Thor Ragnarok. I liked all the visions he was having, and you know, some shit's going to be going down there in that film, so that should be good. And yeah, so we'll see Hulk probably pop up again for Infinity Wars and stuff, so that should be good too. And we had some nice seeds. We had some nice seeds planned for Captain America: Civil War between him and Stark. That should be good too. Like the appearances from Rhodes in this movie as War Machine too, and we got Falcon back. But yeah, so overall not as good as the first movie, but still was a very enjoyable film, and I did like it quite a bit. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this movie. And next time we'll be seeing the Avengers together. We'll have Spider-Man involved in the Infinity War too, right? Tom Holland. But yeah, you guys know my feelings on that. I've done a video on it already. I'm so excited for the Spider-Man character to be involved with the Avengers, but I'd be really, really excited if it was still Andrew Garfield. But it should still be good to see the character with him anyway. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy this video, and leave a comment below if there's other moments in the movie you want to talk about. Would love to discuss with you guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. And peace.